It's June 7th, JLD here, and welcome to MSTR today. In this show, we'll talk about strategy being fully torqued and what that means. Also, MSTR is a monopoly only in the best ways. Also, are MSTR shorts getting a little nervous right now? If they're not, they should be, and we discussed that. Also, why not the Mag 7? Why not stocks like Costco and Nvidia? Not that they're bad companies, but we have something to say about that. Also, a great epic clip by Michael Saylor you don't want to miss. And this video is not financial advice. Please do comment below. Let me know where you're watching from. I really do appreciate your comments. I see them, the support, the love. I really appreciate those comments. I see them all. I respond to as many as I possibly can. So thank you in advance for those. And let's dive on in. Okay, today's first post is from Michael Saylor himself, and he just wants us to know the strategy is fully torqued Bitcoin. And what does that mean? Well, that means 126% 1 year return compared to every other company that is a distant second and beyond. I mean, even Tesla is 50% below, and they have had an absolutely meteoric run. And even in third place, we've got Bitcoin itself. So loving what I'm seeing here. Michael Saylor, keep up the heat. And Adrian says, the thing about Strike, Strife, and Stride that many are missing is that the interest in these products is not retail. The MSTR interest right now is not retail. It's institutions that are coming to the table and they want to eat. This new Stride IPO opened my eyes to new dynamics, and I'll be assessing them to make sure that one, I still fully understand the opportunity with MSTR, and two, that I remain objective. Now, how I read this was that he has just become much more bullish and that, he wants to remain objective, meaning he doesn't want to just fully port MSTR, just go all in. So I actually did write, am I reading this that you are more bullish? And then I wrote, I am. And he wrote, you may be correct to read it that way, sir. I'm actually interviewing Adrian coming up here next week. So keep an eye out for that interview. It's going to be a great one. He's going to be a great guest. Looking forward to that for sure. And speaking of a great guest, I'm actually interviewing Chris later today. So look out for that interview coming up. That'll be a fun one. Chris says, the only MSTR elevator pitch you'll ever need right here. Strategy is a monopoly as the largest corporate holder of the hardest ever commodity in the biggest ever asset class. Monopoly, largest, hardest, biggest. That is Bitcoin in a nutshell. Let's go. The Bitcoin therapist says this cycle is starting to get ridiculous with the number of Bitcoin treasury companies seeking out financing to acquire more capital. Feels 100x more bullish than last cycle. Do not get caught off sides. This is the cycle of generational wealth. And I just have to agree with him. It feels 100 times more bullish than last cycle. I was around for last cycle. And the thing about last cycle was like, where is the buying going to keep coming from? That was a head scratcher. Now it's not a head scratcher. It's so obvious it's coming from Bitcoin treasury companies, from nation states, from sovereign wealth funds, from pension funds, from state funds. It's coming from everywhere. It just feels so much more bullish. Adam said, MSTR Q2 will be remembered as the loudest klaxon in the modern financial history. TradFi will choke, index funds will scramble, CFOs will panic. The last MSTR short will hit the bid at the exact Pico top. The asymmetric game is accelerating. The bears are out of time. And this is Michael Saylor sitting on a $20 billion Q2 profit. Of course, we need a little bit of an increase of Bitcoin to get there, but we're on our way. And then I love the Family Guy references here. Good times are being had. And this post I had to share as well from Adam. The MSTR endgame thread, Q2, face melter coming. It's over. Saylor is about to drop a bomb, $15 to $20 billion in profits. A profit bomb on Wall Street the moment Q2 closes in 23 days. The haters are finished. The analysts are bewildered. The CFOs are terrified. Let's cover this thermonuclear chain reaction. And then this is just Michael Saylor, Q2 profits, and then TradFi and Wall Street. This wasn't supposed to happen. And the MSTR short reports will be in flames. Bitcoin as a bubble will be in flames. And then he has a whole thread here, which I will post in my show notes below if you want to read the entire thing. But obviously the accounting weapon is active. FASB 2023-08 is live. Now, keep reading this thread if you want. It's a doozy. It'll be in the show notes below. Thank you for this, Adam. And the last post by Adam is, I love how the same people who ask, instead of MSTR, why not just buy Bitcoin? I'd rather pay $1 for my $1 Bitcoin than $2 for $1 Bitcoin. Meanwhile, their largest holding in their portfolio is Costco, which trades at a PE, that's price to earnings, 14 points higher than freaking NVIDIA. The anti-MSTR crowd constantly complains about paying a premium NAV, but they're fully comfortable holding equity multiples on consumer staples that make 0 cents relative to underlying growth. Hilarious. And I also think that Adam just continues to point out the obvious. And now we have an epic video clip of Michael Saylor. So sit back and enjoy.
Expects to raise nearly $1 billion from the IPO of preferred stock that pays a 10% yield. The company plans to use the proceeds for general corporate purposes, including buying more Bitcoin. Joining us now is Michael Saylor, strategy executive chairman. You've described some of these moves, these financial moves before to us, Michael. Is this more of the same, or is there anything unique or different about this round?
You know, what's exciting here is we've done 3 IPOs of preferred stocks in the past 6 months. Strike was our first convertible preferred, and that was up 29%, while all the other preferreds were down 6%. Strife was a fixed preferred, paying 10% fixed yield at par. That's up 22% versus all the other preferreds down 4.5%. So Stride was the third of those preferreds. And what's going on here is we are offering fixed US dollar yield, and we're swapping it into BTC yield, which is what our equity investors want. The big breakthrough is that in the preferred market, the capital never comes due. There's no refinance risk. We're basically offering a perpetual US dollar yield forever. We're getting the capital forever. And so by matching a very long duration instrument on the liability side with a long duration asset, we're creating, in essence, an indestructible balance sheet. And these preferreds are a very scalable, extremely low risk way to generate leverage to drive a very large premium into the MSTR stock. So it's a win for the fixed income investors because they're getting a yield 400 basis points more than typical preferred stocks or junk bonds would yield. And it's a big win for our equity investors because they want more Bitcoin, and this is a way to get leverage without worrying about any kind of bond coming due.
Wow. You obviously are the ultimate hodler. You would buy, if you have money, you buy Bitcoin, I think, don't you? It doesn't matter whether it's up, down, or flat.
150% Bitcoin, Joe.
Do you think at this point that there's, let me just say to you, what are you waiting for at this point in terms of good news? I think the regulatory environment since the election is definitely improved. We've talked about how much harder it gets to mine, and there's halving. When is the next halving, and what are the next moves that would cause the asset Bitcoin to get to some of these? I don't know whether you have Tom Lee type projections. I think Tom the other day said eventually it could get to 2.5 million per coin or higher before we never really will get to mining the last coin, will we? Not in our lifetime.
Not in our lifetime, but the last 6 months have been tremendous. All of the fundamental planets have aligned. Bitcoin's been acknowledged as the one digital commodity in the world by the administration. The banking regulators have given a green light to bank Bitcoin. The accountants have upgraded the accounting to fair value accounting. There's been a surge of Bitcoin treasury companies. There's like 100 public companies or more that are holding Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and every single week there's another announcement. I think that, it used to be we're focused on the halvings, but at this point, the entire natural supply of Bitcoin is only 450 Bitcoin available for sale every day. That's sort of about $45, $50 million a day at this level. That is all being consumed by the Bitcoin treasury companies, and the Bitcoin ETFs are coming on strong. So I'm very bullish. My forecast in July of last year in Nashville was Bitcoin's going to appreciate 29% a year on average for the next 21 years. And that moves it from, it was about mid 60, 65,000 to 13 million a coin in the year 2045. I'm getting more bullish on that forecast, but I'm certainly comfortable forecasting 30% a year ARR on average for the next 20 years. I think Bitcoin's up 57% a year for the past 4.5 years. Again, that's double the Mag 7. That's quadruple the S&P. That's 8 times real estate, and bonds are down 4%. So Bitcoin is smashing everything, Joe.
Let's be real. If you've ever tried to invest, especially as a beginner, you've probably asked yourself, how do I even find good stocks? What should I buy or sell right now? And seriously, what the hell is going on with the market today? I ask myself those same questions all the time. And that's exactly why I started using Investing Pro, the powerful new platform from investing.com that helps you make smarter investing decisions without drowning in information overload. One of my favorite features, Warren AI. It's like ChatGPT on the stock market, but with real-time data-backed answers straight from investing.com's massive financial database. Want to know why Nvidia dropped yesterday or why now is a good time to buy Tesla? Just ask. Warren AI gives you instant, up-to-date insights you can actually act on. I recently asked it where to invest $10,000 right now, and the list of stocks that returned, fire, full of actionable ideas I hadn't even considered. Bottom line, if you want to invest smarter, faster, and with more confidence, Investing Pro with Warren AI is a game changer. Check it out now at investing-referral.com/MSTR. Online shopping has never been easier, but this ease is new enough that we remember a time when entering all our credit card info every time we purchased something online was the norm. Luckily, we don't have to do that anymore thanks to Shopify. That's right, that purple Shop Pay button that makes it seamless to purchase online is powered by Shopify. And Shopify doesn't just make it easy to buy, it makes it incredibly easy to start a business no matter your experience. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US, and they make it super easy to get up and running with beautiful, ready-to-go templates and built-in marketing and email tools. Worried about tracking inventory, payments, and analytics? No stress. Shopify helps you manage it all from a single dashboard. And back to that iconic purple Shop Pay button, it's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/MSTR. Go to shopify.com/MSTR, shopify.com/MSTR.
Hey, Michael, you keep popping up in my feed. You've gone viral with some comments you made at the Bitcoin 2025 conference in Las Vegas recently. And it was where someone was asking you about proof of reserves for strategies, 567,000 Bitcoin. You said that that was not a good idea. You don't agree with it because you think it's a security risk to actually do the proof of reserves that way. But there have been a lot of critics in the Bitcoin world about that. They say that snubbing audits like that flies in the face of Bitcoin's founding principles, which are verifiable, transparent ownership. And they say for a company that has its entire business model around Bitcoin, that stance raises some eyebrows. What do you say to that?
Crypto Twitter is very colorful, and we have these fun back and forths. The highest standard of in this case transparency would be a public company audit from a company like KPMG, where they're auditing both your assets and your liabilities, combined with officer representations pursuant to Sarbanes-Oxley about related parties and the like. And so we are a publicly traded company. Our assets are audited. Our Bitcoin reserves are audited by KPMG, as are our liabilities. I think that, we're always thinking and considering, is there a way to do proof of reserves in a secure way? we're not enthusiastic about publishing all of our wallet addresses and having people track them every minute by minute, because it exposes our custodians, our counterparties, and our own employees to more IT risk. But we're considering it. We're thinking about, is there a way to do it with a zero knowledge proof? And we're also always thinking about self-custody and what is the right way to manage custodian risk. And I think what you see is there's the OG crypto advocates who developed a bunch of very strong ideas over the past decade, and there's an emerging class of institutional Bitcoin holders like BlackRock, like the ETFs, and like the Bitcoin treasury companies, and they're focused not just on the assets but also on the liabilities. We have to audit and publish those audits with 10Qs and 10Ks.
Hey, Michael, just very quickly to follow up, Binance's former CEO, Changpeng Zhao, made some kind of cryptic comment where he said he probably sold Bitcoins. People thought that was referring to you. I am certainly not referring to Changpeng Zhao as some paragon of virtue, but just to be clear, that's not the case. You haven't sold?
No, I've never sold any Bitcoin. I haven't sold my personal Bitcoin. The company did a tax wash transaction for a de minimis amount of money many years ago, but the company has accumulated Bitcoin, in every period since we began this journey.
Michael, when I heard that right now ECDSA signature breaking would only require 1 million qubits. I'm speaking your language now. I have no idea what I'm saying. Down from a previous estimate of 13 million qubits, theoretically means that private keys from public addresses could be broken. Shor's algorithm could be gotten around by quantum computing. So quantum computing, at some point, could break the algorithm for Bitcoin. Are there countermeasures that they could be put in? You probably understand what I'm asking you. Do you worry about that?
You look like
you slept okay. You look like you slept okay last night.
It's mainly marketing by people that want to sell you the next quantum yo-yo token. But look, Google and Microsoft aren't going to sell you a quantum computer that cracks modern cryptography, because it would destroy Google and Microsoft and the US government and the banking system. And at some point, I don't think it's this year, next year, in the next 5 years, but sometime 10, 20 years out, if there's a hyper powerful computer that threatens modern cryptography, the answer is Bitcoin network hardware upgrades, Bitcoin network software upgrades, just like Microsoft, Google, the US government upgrade all their messaging and banking applications. The key for everybody is Bitcoin's a protocol like the English language and base 10 math. When the quantum computer breaks your calculator and breaks your messaging app, you're not learning base 16 math, and you're not going to switch to a different language. You're just going to upgrade your software. And Bitcoin's a monetary protocol. We're just going to upgrade the software, Joe.
Wow, because there are people that throw that around that know. Actually, they know less than I do, I think. But so there are countermeasures to deal with that.
If I wanted to hack your Bitcoin, I'd send you an email saying a quantum computer can hack your Bitcoin. Click on the link to upgrade now, and then I'd steal your Bitcoin. It's 10,000 times more likely I'm phishing you than there is a threat. So no, I'm not worried about it. Bitcoin's a protocol. The software gets upgraded every year. The hardware is being upgraded continuously, and it's the hardest thing in the universe to hack. They will hack your banking system, your Google account, your Microsoft account, and every other asset you have, much sooner, because they're an order of magnitude weaker.
Okay, great. On Halloween, what color tie do you wear?
Look, we're all orange. It's the orange.
It's always orange. So even on Halloween, it's just an orangey. It's an orangey sky. Yeah.
There's an orange wave coming, and every public company has got to be thinking about Bitcoin on their treasury, because Bitcoin is digital money. What if Moore's law applies to money and your capital is doubling every 18 months? That's what the Bitcoin treasury companies have concluded.
You've got between 37 trillion and 50 trillion reasons to buy Bitcoin, I think, don't you? You probably come up with that. 37 trillion and counting.
Look, Bitcoin is the future. Yeah, Bitcoin is the future, and it's the opportunity for everybody.
Thanks for coming on today, Michael. We'll see you later.
And there you have it, another episode of MSTR today. And here's my receipt from yesterday. I did a 0.566 share purchase of MSTR. I bought it $372, and that was my $210 daily purchase every trading day of 2025. The big reveal is coming tomorrow. How's the portfolio holding up? I'll give you the entire walkthrough of that. All right, let's switch on over to HODL the line, because we are now a mere 23 days away from the end of Q2. And if MSTR can stay above this $97,000 line, we're looking good. Right now, we're a little bit above 105, so we've built that buffer back up just a little bit. I wouldn't mind having a little bit more, if I'm being honest. 23 days is still a long time, but we're holding strong. And if we remain above 97,000 at 7 p.m. Eastern on June 30th, then MSTR will have a positive sum earnings over the last 4 quarters, therefore checking the final requirement to qualify for the S&P 500. And once that happens, inclusion will not be immediate, and inclusion will not be guaranteed, but I do believe it's inevitable. They can't keep out a company like Strategy. I love the fact that Coin was inducted last month. That was an absolutely great sign that the S&P 500 is not going to just completely stonewall all Bitcoin companies, because since Coin is in, why would you not let MSTR in? It's a bigger company. It's a better company. It's a stronger company, all of these things. So I believe it's inevitable. 23 days from now, the HODL the line continues. If you haven't already commented, go ahead and comment HODL the line. Let's do this together. If you have already commented, thank you so much. As I said at the beginning of the show, it's Saturday, so I'm going to take a step back and just say thank you. Thank you for everybody who watches every single day. I see your comments. I appreciate them. It really means a lot. You're the reason I keep doing this show. I just signed a 6-month sponsor that'll be starting in July. That's really going to be a good one. It's really going to be dialed in to exactly what we're excited about, which is Bitcoin, which is strategy, which is the future of the apex predator known as Bitcoin. So thank you so much to all the people that watch every single day, that like, that share, that comments. Again, I see your likes, I see your comments. They mean the world. And like Michael Saylor said, there is no second best.
What's the second best? There is no second best.